Hello, let me ask you a question. What does it mean to be free? Not financially free, not free from isolation right now, which would be great, but free as in five senses being free. You can accomplish this by going scuba diving. This is one of my hobbies, and I do this every year. Um, I've started about 5 years ago in Thailand, and I went with the manager at first. He got laid off from work and started traveling the world, and coincidentally, we're in the same part of the world at the same time. We're about 8 hour drive away from each other, but he asked me to come down and join his scuba diving adventures. I was reluctant at the time because I thought it was just beach bums and hippies that did this, but boy, that has changed. The association that we did was PADI Diving. It stands for Professional Association of Diving Instructors. It's a globally recognized institution and organization around the world. Let me give you a brief history on it. So it started as a diving organization founded in 1966 by John Cronin and Ralph Erickson. The two met in Illinois as John was a scuba salesman and Ralph was a university polo coach. Today there's more than 6,500 dive schools and resorts around the world. So there are certifications under this program, four of them to be exact. The first one starts as open water, second is advanced open water, third is rescue diver, and master diver. Open diver is the one that you start with. This one would be some homework and a pool diving course, followed by 3 ocean dives with a limited depth of 18 meters. First you have to do 14 laps in the pool just to weed out the people that don't want to do it. Then it moves down to advanced open water. You can start choosing separate courses along with this one, such as deep dive, buoyancy, like a wreck dive underneath the water, and a navigation dive. Complete these 3 given dives. One might be a night dive too, with a limited depth of 30 meters now, so it changed from 18 meters down to 30. The next one is rescue diver. You get to learn to identify problems underneath the water. You do 4 dives with a CPR course at the end, so a little bit of medical stuff associated with this one. The last one is master diver. This is the crown jewel, the one that you want to get at the end of the certificate. This one you have to complete 50 dives, 5 additional PADI specialty dives, and this would be underwater photography, enriched air, so breathing under nitrogen. There's some benefits with this, and you can do an altitude dive, so that means at the top of mountains there'd be lakes in the craters that you dive in. This is quite specialty stuff. The one that I did was a night dive on a shipwreck called HTMS Satakook. This was a U.S. troop transporter in World War II, and it was deliberately sunk there for divers. You could also see the turrets that were still on it from before, and all the deck holes and bullet holes in there too, which is really cool. When I went diving down there, this was at night, and seeing this ship coming into my flashlight, it was quite the sight. There's actually a little fish that lives in the barrel hole. It's too bad that we didn't have slides because I have pictures of it, but this little fish would be, if you stick in a little piece of rock or coral, it would spit it right back out at you, and it used to live in the barrel of the turret on this ship. Let me give you some price comparisons compared to, let's say here, if you went to dive. Vancouver open water course starts at $500, whereas when I went to Thailand it was $300. Plus you get accommodation there too. Too bad you couldn't throw in some food. What you want to do before you enter the water, you want to do some checks, some vital checks for your safety and for your other people's safety too. So this would be buoyancy. You want to check how you'll float in the water. You want to check your weights to see if you have enough or not enough. Your regulator, so the thing that you breathe in and out of, you want to see if this is not leaking. You want to check your air, so the hose is back to your tank to see if they're not leaking either, and then you want to do a final check just to see if everything's working in order, because the last thing you want to do is get down underneath the water and have something bad happen to you. So this would be an acronym for BORF. So we ask each other, have you done your BORF before? It's quite a funny little saying. What would you do underneath the water? Well, it's not like a little kiddie pool. There are tasks that you must complete and objectives you must meet. So some of the tasks would be a navigation dive, using a compass underneath the water, or you can navigate using coral formations around the dive site. You always want to dive with a buddy in case something goes wrong. Also, you have to use hand signals because obviously you can't talk or you can't hear. So you would have to do hand signals underneath the water, and the other diving instructors and students would have to understand it and reciprocate it too. Another thing you gotta do is adjust your trim. So this is underwater aerodynamics. So you want to swim parallel to the water. You don't want to swim like this so that current takes you and floats you away somewhere else. This would make you breathe more air, and you'd have a shorter dive, and it would put you somewhere else on the dive site that you don't want to be. The main thing you want to do underwater is just have fun, chill, spend as little air as you can, and look for cool fish with your buddies. That's the best thing you want to do. Why I chose scuba diving? Well, I'm in Thailand almost every year, so it's the best diving in the world, and it's the cheapest diving in the world. Originally I went there to meet my manager and go train with him, but ever since then, every year I've gone and worked on my skills and developed new techniques. So I've gone there every year after him, and also I go there for the food. So it's kind of a two birds with one stone kind of thing. It's unlike anywhere else in the world, and like anything else you've done. Everything underwater is completely different from living on land. The techniques, the way you move around the water is different. Also the senses are different. You can't talk, you can limited vision, you can swim up and down, so it's a little bit claustrophobic, but it's quite freeing at the same time. It's very ironic. It's a weird feeling. This is my dive log. I don't have slides, but I have to give you physical proof that I went here. So I would fly into Bangkok, a 20-hour flight, come all the way down the coast on a bus, all the way to here, 4-hour trip to the island. And that would be my route all the way over here every time. It's quite a long process, but it's all worth it. This is my dive logs. This is my time, the date, the location of the dive site, the depths that you go down, the stamp of approval, and your dive buddy. So you complete these every time you go diving. I hope you really enjoyed this slide. I hope everybody tries diving once in their life, possibly. What you take from diving is completely different from everything else. There's no age discrimination. You can dive at any age. I've seen little kids as old as 6 years old do this too. And it's completely safe if you go with a reputable company like Patty or other ones. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and stay safe and have a nice day.